Nicholas Diego Leanos, otherwise known as Lil Xan, was a rapper who blew up back in 2017 for his hit single Betrayed. The song peaked at number 64 on the Billboard Hot 100 and set up Lil Xan to be one of the next hottest rappers. He was one of a new generation of SoundCloud rappers that had Cole Bennett videos, face tats, as well as names with Lil. But an upward spiral of success led to a downward spiral of a rapper that is now seen as a joke to a lot of people. There are multiple controversies, sketchy things going on behind the scenes, and a recovering drug addict dealing with pressure from the court of public opinion and fame. What happened? And where did it all go wrong? This is the fall off of Lil Xan. On August 28th, 2017, the song Betrayed was uploaded to the Lyrical Lemonade YouTube channel by an artist named Lil Xan. The thumbnail, the face tats, combined with the name, as well as the song, which is actually pretty good, created the perfect storm that boosted it to popularity, with the music video now sitting around 290 million views on YouTube. Xan would rise to notoriety with the song, as well as other huge singles, being the face of an anti-Xans movement, the movement he dubbed xanarchy. Although that was what he set out to do, it didn't exactly pan out the way he imagined. But for now, Xan was on top of the world. A hot new rapper receiving all this attention as a celebrity and as an artist. Blowing up in late 2017 would set up 2018 as Lil Xan's year. However, only a few months after his blow up, Xan would already do something that would prove that his career was going to be one that was short-lived. The moment his career started to go downhill is usually pinpointed to when he did an interview on Cloud9, where he was asked to rate the infamous Tupac. This one clip right here is what people usually use to pinpoint the beginning of his downfall.
2. The born music.
Him saying this whilst being a mumble rapper that looked white with face tats to be specific, was an extremely bad look that jeopardized his reputation. Multiple big names and videos were made criticizing him, and Waka Flocka even tweeted out Lil Xan banned from hip hop. Xan at the beginning of his blow up already had some people hating him for his name promoting a drug, but when those people were given a reason to hate him, it started to spiral out of control. Not only was the situation bad enough for Xan, but it seemed reacting to trolls and going on Insta Live defending himself, then backtracking when the hate got too much for him to handle, just made things all that much worse for him. When people sense that you are emotional and that they can get to you, especially as a celebrity, they will troll you endlessly until they see you break. It seems like Xan, under the influence of drugs and his own poor decision making, made each of these scenarios all that much worse for himself. Things, however, just kept getting worse for Xan. Upon the release of his debut studio album, Total Xanarchy, critics were bashing him for how bad the album was. The album sold 28,000 copies within its first week, being a moderate commercial success. However, it was considered a flop considering that the projections for Xan were much higher. Upon listening to it, it wasn't surprising that his album flopped, considering that the album sounded lazy, like it had barely any effort put into it. Some of the tracks in Total Xanarchy are actually ear-bleeding, and this is coming from someone who enjoys some of his music. The reason for all of this was covered much later on the No Jumper podcast in 2022.
Who realistically, like, I remember when Lil Xan's album came out, right? And I remember having a conversation with Stat and being like, what do you think of the album? Because it was pretty obvious that the album was bad and that the production, or that he didn't put any effort into it. And I know Stat, and I know Stat, when it comes to music, he's a workaholic. Like, he wants his artists to be really in the studio working on the product. He's a sober, clean-minded businessman. You know, he wants his fucking artists to go hard in the studio. And I mean, Xan didn't. Xan put in like no work for the album. And I remember having that conversation with him. And if it was up to Stat, Xan would have been sitting in the studio recording every fucking night. And instead, he was just doing drugs and having random ass girls come over every night. So, I mean,
after this project, Xan was able to stay relevant by dropping new songs and music videos, and particular controversies would keep his name in the headlines, being usually negative. From eating too many hot Cheetos to his repeated check-ins to rehab, mental breakdowns on Instagram Live, and the things he would say in the spark of an emotional moment would all contribute to the decline of his career.
I want to show y'all what mental illness really fucking looks like. Y'all want to see what that looks like? I just did this to my car. Scratched it, keyed it up. I just bought it. I just bought this fucking car. It's keyed all the way. Hit the fucking door. Wanna know why I'm doing that? Because of mental fucking illness. All this materialistic shit don't mean shit in the world. And when they won't let you do, I'm owned. I'm a fucking slave. I'm a slave to my management. I'm a slave to everybody. I don't get control of my license. I don't get control of my bank account. I don't get control of shit. I can't even drive that fucking car.
Following his album, Xan released a mixtape entitled Heartbreak Soldiers, which was received much better than the album, but only helped him maintain the fanbase he had already accumulated. He still wasn't making the music that his fans wanted, however, as it seemed like he didn't stick with the style of rapping he had with Betrayed. Multiple comments suggesting that this was his only good song and that he was no better than a one-hit wonder. This put multiple people off to him as the sound and even rapping that Xan provided on Betrayed didn't seem consistent with the rest of his music. Xan had already made some music with the same style, but his album, as well as a handful of his other songs, already gave people their expectations of him. There's a vlog from October 2020 by Adam22 giving a tour of Lil Xan's house. If any word could describe the vlog, it would be depressing. In the video, Xan is visibly high, so much to the point where it looks like he's just trying to stay alive. The guy actually looks like a zombie, smoking cigarettes with his eyes half open. The people around him are no better either. If you look at the comments, all if not most of them are commenting on Xan's depressing state and the yes men around him enabling him to be like this. It's almost like they're allowing him to be in this state just so they can leech off of him. This made this vlog incredibly eerie and even a little bit disturbing to watch. Xan has not dropped an album since 2018, and any attempt at dropping a second album has been flaked on, with him announcing albums just for them to not come out on their release day. The music he has released has all basically been singles that have been received as hit or miss, and it seems as if he's afraid to release another album after the reviews of Total Xanarchy, or simply doesn't have a proper idea or concept fully executed. His work ethic and drug addiction doesn't help him either, as Xan throughout the past 4 years has been in and out of rehab and hospitals, ranging from his drug addiction to panic attacks from severe anxiety. So, why did Lil Xan fall off? You could say someone like Lil Xan was predisposed to all of this happening, and while some things weren't his fault, a large portion of the damage to his career was. Xan's spending habits, lack of personal responsibility, lack of discipline when it came to making and releasing music set the bar so low. Lil Xan was doomed from the start. If a broke person who's a drug addict that didn't know how to manage their money got rich overnight, that person wouldn't stay rich just because of their sheer mindset. This is the difference between people who keep making more and more money and people who get money but are impulsive with it and instantly blow it off on things they don't need. By the time the first person gets rich, they've earned it and they can manage it because they have the discipline and work ethic required to make more money, while the blessings that Betrayed brought upon Xan were so spontaneous that Xan didn't know how to deal with it properly. Especially when you consider the fact that Xan is a recovering drug addict who grew up poor in an unstable environment his entire life. It's kind of sad to see him struggle maintaining his initial success with these continual problems. You can make the argument that someone with a name like Lil Xan was doomed from the start. In fact, Xan's repeatedly tried to change it to Diego, being his middle name, although being unsuccessful. He's been stuck with this branding for a couple of years at this point, so if he wanted to change it, he should have made that decision in the beginning. Rappers like Lil Skies are still relevant to a degree, even if they aren't in their prime, simply for the fact that they are more disciplined, talented, and consistent when it comes to making and releasing music. The music is consistent in quality and provides longevity, which allows them to grow and maintain their current fanbase. However, would it be possible for Diego to bounce back and start a comeback? I believe he could if he put the proper effort into his music and properly rolled out an album that proved people wrong. If he stuck with his lyrical material instead of choosing to ride the wave of being repetitive, kept a consistent quality, and dropped music more frequently, then of course he could. However, I think it all boils down to his work ethic and maybe even talent to begin with. Unless Lil Xan takes making music and his career more seriously, his career will continue to spiral down. But hey, when you hit rock bottom, the only direction you can go is up.